Hi there, so over Christmas a company called RowMo got in touch, offering to send me their handles that you attach to the Concept2 handle in order to transform how it feels. Now, the box arrived today and I'm so eager to look at it and to show it to you. I've not got changed out, I've just been painting the green screen in here, so I've got like green all over my tracky bottoms. I'm not on my RowAlong stuff or anything. I just want to open this box and show you it and kind of really find out if it's any good or not, because I'm skeptical, okay? I wonder whether there's any point to do anything to the handle. This thing works, why would you change stuff? So I want to see what it's like, how it works, how it feels. So, do you want to watch this with me? Fantastic. Leave me a comment below if you have any thoughts about this video at all, if you've got requests for anything else you want me to look at. But here we go then, with the unboxing. So I've not opened it or anything, okay? Look, still got the tape around it, still got the postage label on it. Don't zoom in on that to find my address, so I'm not doing this as the second take, am I? So here we go. Oh look, they've even sent me a little thanks, John. No. Okay. Install your rowing or your RowMo grips. Okay, so there's a guide on what to do, which I'm usually a bit rubbish when it comes to reading instructions, so I will leave that there as a reminder that that's what I want to do. The handles themselves, which I will pick up and show you in a second. There seems to be a plastic clip, and then there's a handy bag as well, either for storage or for the next time I go shopping. Okay, so, right, this seems to be simple enough. It's just two handles and a plastic clip. And so, I mean, if you're used to doing like a seated row in the gym, then you'll know exactly kind of what this feels like. It's just as like it's handles. They're actually the nice rubber. It's that weird, soft but hard rubber. Little bit lined. They feel fine. I do the seated row in the gym, so already I'm thinking that this is just going to turn the rowing machine into a seated row. Admittedly, if I was at the gym, I'd sit there and I'd just go to the seated row machine. But maybe for people at home who don't have that kind of thing, and they do want to change, instead of the normal rowing being that way, they want to just suddenly go like vertically or however, then this could be how it works. So, right, here we go. Let's get these fellas put on. You'll have to forgive while an idiot tries to get this right, but this is a good test. Hey, RowMo people, you'll find out. Is this idiot proof? Because I'm the idiot and I'm the proof. So start by flipping the handlebar upside down. Ooh. Next, slide the rings of the RowMo grips all the way to the center of the handlebar. Okay. Let's do that. Ta-da! Thread orange RowMo clip through the ring and through the middle gap of the handlebar. I'll try and do this so you can see on the thing. So, okay, that one and that one. Okay. It doesn't quite want to bend in that direction. Is that because I've got this too far through? Ah, there we go. All right, and then there was a handy little snap as it went in. Okay, apply even pressure with both thumbs until you hear both sides click into place. I'm guessing that's what that snap was. Flip the handlebar back to its normal position. Woo! You are now ready to start rowing with your RowMo grips. RowMo grips are designed to be stowed out of the way when not in use. Or is that kind of like, I'm guessing like that. And actually, they're not too heavy, so they're not gonna, even like that. They don't really affect the mass of the handle, of the stock handle. I mean, a little bit, tiny bit, but enough. So, all right, so I can, well, my big clown feet. So yeah, I can still row comfortably. I mean, the plastic is kind of, I'm losing about a centimetre worth of length if I want to avoid the plastic banging into my chest, but that's not really it's easy enough. It might take a minute or so for me to put it back on again, but I could easily unclip it each time I wasn't using it. So, yep, that's not bad. So, you don't want to see me rowing with these in standard, like just my normal handle, these kind of flapping around. You want to find out what it's like to row with these like this, don't you? So, I guess, so there's two orientations. We can go for the normal, like traditional flat, or we can go vertical, okay? So let's just go normal first, see what happens here. Now, I can instantly feel that my lats and my delts are getting hit a little bit more here. But this is actually really comfortable. I really wasn't expecting this to feel good. Am I feeling like I'm losing anything at the front? Not really, no. I like that it's promoting, because you have to clear the handles, you're not going to finish like this because it's going to bang against your chest, okay? So it's, as I'm coming into the finish, it's promoting this kind of finish with elbows slightly out, more of a, it's not quite chicken wings, let's not say that, but I'm coming out, pulling, because I'm a very, like that kind of triangular finish in order to get your elbows through and your wrists flat. Because if I was to row with it just coming straight into my chest, so my hands are quite close together at the front, because I'm not going to be coming at an angle, so my hands are close together at the front, so if I pull straight into my chest, that's quite uncomfortable. That's quite an uncomfortable finish. You can get away with that on a standard handle coming in because you've got enough clearance, okay? Because the handle's wide if you're going shoulder width, whereas if you don't finish shoulder width, you finish kind of short and you kind of bang the handle off your chest. You don't want to do that. Your body, like my first strokes, naturally, I wanted to come out in order to clear my chest, and that's now keeping my wrists flat. It's keeping my elbows up as well. Now, I'll confess, I don't row in the water. I'm the one of people that get in touch and say, can you give us some on the water rowing? I've never gotten a proper rowing ship. I said ship on purpose, don't worry. So yes, I don't really know, but I would imagine that there is something about this feel that would be similar to if I had two oars in my hand. Okay, if I was like stacked, trying not to bang them off my knuckles, okay? But like I say, because it's promoting the elbows coming through the sides and the wrists flat, I mean, if I was to, I suppose I could still finish high, couldn't I? If I wanted to, or down, yeah, okay. But, and then like the little bunny hand thing that you see a lot of people doing. But I think if you are wanting to row with something of a proper wrists flat, elbows out technique, then these really do help promote that kind of finishing position here. Elbows, like forearms going straight to wrists, straight through to the front. I can feel here, that's your delts, isn't it? The kind of outer side of the delts. Front, I can never remember those three parts of your delts, but it's more like the front part. I can feel that getting activated here. Now, I don't know whether that's why that is. I'm guessing it's because of the height of the finish here, rather than if I finish here, everything's a little bit lower. So possibly I'm not rowing right in the first place. Maybe that's actually good. I can see the good thing about having the My Row monitor in front of me is that I've got reflection. The screen gives me quite a good reflection of me, so I can look at me the whole time. And so I can see that possibly, am I shrugging my shoulders up as I come to a finish? Is there a way to do that? No, that's if I want to finish sternum height with these, I am lifting my shoulders up, or it is going into those delts, rather than it being lower as my elbows come straight through my sides. My shoulders don't get quite the workout. If you're a real rower, okay, none of this pretend rowing machine rower, let me know from like in the comments below, or even if you just know your muscles and stuff, let me know, should I be getting more of a workout in the frontal delts here for my rowing? Am I missing out on something by finishing at sternum height with elbows through, rather than what these RowMo handles are promoting, which is that kind of more elbows out to the side delt thing? I would have thought that I'd want my elbows to be down in order to engage lats and shoulders and stuff, rather than the smaller delts. But if you're a rower or you know physiology, you let me know. So anyway, so that's interesting, I think, from that point of view. I think that's fascinating. This is quite a deep dive for a first view, if you ask, but I'm going to go this way now, okay? This is akin to when you go to the gym and you see someone rowing underhand, okay? When you see someone if you're going to row like this, pick up some dumbbells and do some bicep curls. Don't take up the rowing machine. Someone else wants to row properly. But let's try this way, or the more hammer way. And again, I'm kind of, in order to get the handles to clear my chest, I am pulling them very out to the side. So they're basically, I can feel it kind of rubbing past my nipples. That'll be my OnlyFans page. Now this is not, I'm definitely not getting that delt hit from this position. So if you have shoulder issues, then this is a great way to take the pressure off your shoulders. But then I suppose rowing normally, I wasn't getting that pressure on my shoulders. But it definitely feels different this way. And you can get that nice pull out to a finish, which actually, I talk a lot about the back of the rowing stroke feeling as though you're crushing a tin can between your shoulder blades, just to squeeze out the last watt or two of power. And now, when you finish on the Concept2 handle, and your elbows are kind of slightly out, it's a bit of a round kind of afterthought. Whereas, if you're rowing in, I'm just going to call this hammer, because it feels like a hammer, okay? I've got to give it some kind of reference, so I'm going to call it the hammer grip. If I'm doing this, then I can finish with my elbows tucked in around my side. I mean, this isn't a rowing form at all, but in terms of getting a workout and squeezing those, that'd be what my traps are up at the top. Lats again, or would it still be traps? Lats, traps. I should really read a book, shouldn't I? Yeah, so they definitely get involved. So in terms of turning this into a gym exercise, pulling, in fact, tell you what I'll do. Right, okay. We'll talk flaws for a second. I can't put it in the handle rest. I can rest it there, but can guarantee one light breath and that thing's flying off. Right, hang on. I'm taking this off, just Motley Crue t-shirt. So I told you I've got absolutely no RowAlong branding going on today at all. I just want to, again, see in my reflection what muscles are engaging in my arms. It's kind of promoting an early pull. That's the only thing I'd say, is that as I come in, I'm taking, rather than hanging off the handles like you would if I was rowing normally, so here, straight arms, there's no bend, there's hardly any activation to my muscles at all at the drive for a standard rowing stroke. But if I go into the hammer grip, I am kind of bracing, pulling early. I don't really get that hang off them. I kind of do, but you can see, or as I can see, that even my tiny biceps are flexing against the stroke. What about if I go normal? Yeah, and if I go for the standard, I can hang off here. So it's definitely something to do with the hammer grip. But, so that's the way to think about it, okay? So the horizontal grip is the rowing grip. This is where you're able to replicate rowing. You get that finish where you can come through your sides. The vertical hammer grip, I do hope the RowMo people take on board my labeling of this as the hammer grip. This is more if you want to kind of basically do a gym workout, if you want to turn this into a seated row. In fact, you could, if you wanted to, yeah, easily just sit on the floor. I could stick, in fact, you didn't see me do this, okay? Well, actually, yeah, it's a little bit because I might have to sit on the rail to get the perfect feeling from this, but you could turn this into just a seated row. But put the drag factor down, that's still like 140 for me. And then row, if you still get the same, I'm still getting the same upper body workout that I did with my feet on the ground. And then I'm also getting a good leg workout because I'm pushing too. Now, I've been editing this video and there's one thing I've spotted that I want to bring up before we continue with this, and that is compression. Because as I've been watching myself in the edit, I've seen that I've been getting into that kind of shins vertical position, maybe very slightly off vertical, but the handle is right up at the chain return, right through the kind of the rectangle hole at the front. And so if I, like row, try and get shins vertical, you can see the handle is right up at the front, okay? I am getting into that compression. Shins are vertical, I'm comfortable. Every now and then, last time it hit the front, but I'm okay now. But I might kind of be right at that point of vertical and no more. But in many ways, that's perfect, because what it's doing is it's like a hack that's stopping me from overcompressing. Because if I was rowing, and I'm the kind of person who really lunges into the front, overcompresses and dives down, the handle is smacking off the front. I mean, if I go without the handles, I can really get into the front, overcompress, curl up like a ball, and it's not helping my rowing. Whereas these handles, because of that extra length, it's almost like it's a hack to stop that incredible overcompression. And after all, this is what you see most of the time in terms of technique on a rowing machine, is people who are overcompressing. Undercompression isn't really an issue, overcompression is. So they're actually, in that way, a really useful little bit of kit. And that way you'll get the sensation for how far you need to slide, so that when I am back onto using the proper handle, I've kind of just got used to the fact that I'm only coming to here before I push out, rather than that overcompression. And let's face it, most of the times when I see technique videos from people, they're tending to overcompress into the front, to really kind of slump down, trying to get that extra little bit of length from the front that's actually weakening their stroke rather than giving them more length and more power. So I think this is actually like an unintended effect. Real bonus of these things is that idea of fixing your compression if there's a problem going on. Anyway, back to him. Would I buy them? I don't know how much they cost. That's the only thing. That's the only downside of them sending them to me to review, is I don't know how much. So when I went home after filming yesterday, I checked how much these actually cost. $100 for a pair of RowMo handles, which I know some people are going to be thinking that's quite a lot of money. But if you take a look at the description below, you will see a discount code, and you're going to save a whole bunch of cash if you use that when buying the RowMo handles. So please check the description, use that discount code, and enjoy the handles if this is what you're looking for. Anyway, back to him talking. Right, here we go. If your choice is sitting on the couch watching TV feeling sorry for yourself because you have reduced mobility for accident or whatever, and so therefore your beloved rowing machine is sitting gathering dust, you'd love to be able to row on it, but you can't because you're injured or you have a lack of mobility or whatever, and these RowMo handles are the things that would allow you to be able to row because they've moved you from that plane to that plane, the kind of hammer grip as I'm calling it, then it's a no-brainer to buy these. So even if these were like $100, then that $100 is going to be an investment that gets you back on the machines, gets you doing some cardio, gets you healthy, gets you able to row again. And then there is like I said, I'm not a rower, so I don't actually know whether what I'm kind of doing with that, the finishing with the elbows kind of more out, because I say I'm a little bit kind of lower and through the sides rather than flaring out. So it may be that from an actual rowing on a rowing boat side of things, that these are quite useful as well, that by giving you mobility as though it was actually two oars you're holding, that maybe it's going to work for you. So and then just as an interesting way to work out and to like a gym from that kind of seated row kind of point of view for changing how your muscles are working. There's actually absolutely no reason for these to exist. Okay, the Concept2 handle works perfectly. The Concept2 machine is fantastic. There is no need to augment or change the Concept2. It is the perfect rowing machine. However, for all of those reasons that I just stated, mobility or adding a new dimension to how it feels if you don't have resistance equipment in your gym or your home gym or whatever, and you just want to change the grip to get something, or to kind of change the feel in terms of making it feel a little bit closer to rowing in a boat in terms of the separate movement of the handles, then actually there's no need for them, but they're a really good idea. I think, yeah, that's it. That should be the headline. There is absolutely no need for the RowMo handles, but they are a fantastic idea, and I really am surprised and enjoyed how they just changed up my workout, how it suddenly felt like I was getting that activation up here in my shoulders, and then for holding at the hammer grip, how I was able to get that squeeze on my shoulder blades. I'll be able to crush a full can of Coke between my shoulder blades if I row with these for long enough. So yeah, I think I'm really, really surprised. I really, really, really am surprised at how nice these feel. Yeah, a great Christmas present from RowMo, actually. So thank you very much, RowMo people. I've really, really enjoyed this. I don't think I'm going to leave them in place the whole time because I think it will just get annoying banging off me and things. But I will put them into circulation when... There we go, that's better. I will put them into circulation whenever I want to change things up. Maybe I want to do a different kind of row, and I'll do that. So yeah, I mean, I can't even finish this video because I'm so surprised that I just can't stop talking. So I should really just stop. So I know there's going to be loads of people out there that are really skeptical about this. They're like, what's the point in them? It's just another thing. You don't need it. And like I said, you don't need it. Right? If you're doing exactly the kind of workout that you want to be doing, if you don't have mobility issues, you don't want to change things up, and you've got access to seated row and whatever to kind of work at those slightly different plane of motion muscles, then no, you don't. And it is just a thing that kind of exists there. But there are people out there that these will be absolutely perfect for. They're going to unlock rowing for them again. And for those people, I think you really should look at RowMo. Okay, if you think that this is going to be of use to you, then I think so. If you have any questions about these at all, and you want me to test them in a certain way, if you want me, because I know I've not even been talking pace, in terms of did they change my pace for how I was rowing, then please leave me a comment below. Ask any questions you want. Hopefully you've taken this as an honest review. Hopefully you've trusted that, that I've actually, I mean, you saw the surprise on my face when I started rowing. Yeah, so I'm going to finish the video. So thank you so much. Leave me a comment, say hello, go watch some of my RowAlong. Why not buy some of these and then watch one of my RowAlong workouts up here on YouTube. Use these at the same time and go, wow, that transformed things. And the good thing is you can change each, like you can, well, yeah, you can. Suppose you can row underhand with them as well if you want. But yeah, pick up some dumbbells for that. All right, so check out the rest of the stuff on the channel. I will see you in the next video. Until then, row well, be well. Bye-bye.